Hello again, YouTube land. Post-holiday, or several holidays, depending on who you are, where you are, what you do, and who you do it with. In our case, we did last Sunday? Well, the last night of Hanukkah, we went up to Sam's parents' house. Excuse me. Wake up. We went to Sam's parents' house for the last night of Hanukkah, and that was fun, I guess, as it's ever gonna be, or was. And then for Christmas, as usual, we went up to Maine. It was actually great weather up until the night before we left, and that's when the storm hit. It wasn't that bad, all things considered. When the weather turned, it was overnight. So that meant, you didn't lose any daylight to get stuff done, which is good. But it also meant that by the time we all got up at 6 in the morning, well, all of us except for Sam, there was about 6 inches on the ground, and there was about another 4 to 6 inches expected. Now, a foot of snow in the majority of the country, you say, it's going to be a foot of snow overnight, people freak. There's a panic that sets in, stores get raided, it's a whole thing. In Maine, you say a foot of snow overnight, and people go, alright, I'll bring in some extra firewood for when the power goes out. And that's about the end of it, because people in Maine have lived and grown with the understanding that that's how it is. The winters where we don't get much snow, that's where we get worried. That's where we get very confused and very worried, like, I didn't have to dig my car out, and it's December. Huh? So, there were a couple other ups and downs. There was some nonsense hitting the fan with my sister, which means the end result is we didn't get to go visit with her and our nephew, etc. Long, complicated. And the other major thing happened was that on the drive home, we left when it was still technically storming out. I mean, so much so that the speed limit on the highway was 45, but the average speed of people on the highway was between 35 and 40, because Mainers know better. And about an hour into the drive, the driver's side windshield wiper, which we'd already tried to fix once or twice because it was clogging with ice and therefore not working, which, being that I was the driver, I had a problem with. Going down the highway after the second time we had stopped to fix it and use the bathroom and whatnot, it just went and jumped off the car. I'm not kidding. I had the wipers running, and I'm going down the highway, coming up on Kittery, and it threw itself off the car. So, of course, I had to do a pretty interesting series of, God, I hope I can see out the middle of the window enough to get where I need to go. Got off the road, managed to find the Napa Auto Parts store on instinct. I had no idea where it was, and just that's where we ended up. Oh. Excuse me. And, it was what it was. I explained it to the guy in the auto parts store, and even he thought it was a bit strange, but found us the right part, brought it out, snapped it on for us, because Sam and I are not incredibly automotively inclined as far as repair and mechanical work goes. Having owned a car for several years on my own that I was responsible for, I know a bit more than he does, but not a lot. So yeah. But the new wiper worked fine, and we got home. There were a couple ups and downs over the course of the day, so I ended up, for one reason or another, doing the lion's share of the driving, which in this case means about 90 to 95% of it. Sam wanted to drive. He likes to drive. It just worked out that it made more sense for me to do more of the driving. And I'll say this for Sam, though. This particular instance aside, he and I generally split driving responsibilities 50-50 because he's one of maybe 3 people I've ever been in a car with who I trusted to drive. Which for someone as paranoid as me, who comes from a family of cabbies, like I do, it says a lot. So, I don't know. The only other thing is that I've been fighting a headache all day, and even though I do laundry, the last night we're at my parents' house, so that when I unpack, it's primarily clean clothes that I'm unpacking, so that we don't immediately have to do laundry when we get home as a given. Somehow we still need to do laundry. I don't get it. God, and I'm looking at this basket of laundry earlier, and I'm thinking, I gotta get groceries, and I gotta do this, and I gotta do that, and I gotta figure out what to make for dinner, and we don't have anything in the house, and oh my god, I don't want to deal with this right now. And I see this full bin of laundry, and it's like the tipping point, I see it, and I'm like, I quit. I'm gonna go lay down on the couch with something I order myself, and I'm not going to exist until tomorrow. Bye. But I can't do that. I had to get up, I had to wake Sam, who of course went back to work. Even though it's only one day out of the 5-day week. Oh, excuse me. Oh God, had to wake him up, figure out breakfast. Fortunately, I keep coffee in the house, and I keep oatmeal and grits in the house, because there's always that one random morning where you just completely forgot to get what you need to make breakfast, but you gotta eat something. Having absolutely nothing in the house, I said to him, you understand you're on your own for lunch, right? Because I don't even have the jelly for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And he was like, oh, no, I kind of figured that, but we hadn't officially discussed it. I was like, yeah, it's official. So I'm going to make dinner, even though it's supposed to be my night off, and he should be feeding himself. But, I've told him this before. The day or two immediately after a road trip, it's not going to work out like that, because for the entire week prior to us being away for more than 2 consecutive nights, I strip the kitchen. I mean, I strip the fucker. Anything that isn't a long-term shelf-stable canned or dry good gets eaten, used, or thrown. Because I don't want to come home to that kind of in my fridge. No. What else? Oh, when we had gone up, I decided to get my hair touched up because I needed it, and I had gotten my nails done. Now, my nails are significantly longer than they have been in a long time, but I decided to get acrylics, and they would still be on, but for the fact that yesterday when I was helping Dad shovel, he was running the snowblower, but our car was a part of the driveway that you had to dig around part of it. So I was digging around part of it. And coming up past the driver's side, whack! My thumb decided to have a very intimate, quick, brief love affair with the side mirror. Now, you slam yourself on something, you scream, you're profane, whatever. You move along. Well, it wasn't until I had calmed down this morning, got home, got shit taken care of, had a good night's sleep in my own bed, spent a good 20 minutes snuggling our cat. I was putting myself together this morning, and I realized the thumb that I smacked into the driver's side mirror, which had at the time an acrylic nail on it, that had only been on it for a week, I cracked it in 2 places. That's how hard I slammed my hand into the side mirror. No, it's not broken. A little stiff, maybe. But no worse for wear, because I am built of solid metal. Not necessarily adamantium, but I'm tougher than your average bitch. That was the other thing. Got home this morning. I'm getting myself together for the day, the whole 3 S's. And I get out of the shower, and there's Tribble sitting on the toilet seat lid staring at me. And I'm going about getting myself together, and she starts screaming at me, and I'm like, what? What's the matter? I'm right here. Dripping wet, towel around me, trying to sop up the moisture, because my hair is pretty long now. And she just, meow, meow. One paw and everything. Meow. Okay, fine. I'm all wet, though. You're going to get wet. Meow. So, I go, all right, I'll pick you up. Both feet come up onto my shoulder, and she jumps up on me. She never, she loves me. She never reacts like this, though. She curled up right here and tried to grind the top of her head into the side of my face, while she purred. It's actually pretty adorable. I love her that much, too. Of course, it meant I had to rewash my face because half of it was covered in cat fur. But whatever. So I don't know. The more I think about it, I think the laundry's going to have to wait until tomorrow afternoon because I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm not up to it. And it's going to be a few days before I'm caught up on everything. There's a lot of cleaning we want to get done around here and whatnot, and got to put away Christmas presents, and I don't know. But one thing I'm really, really thrilled about is that my dad actually got me the Mr. Beer home brewing kit. I know, it's a very weird nerd alcoholic response, but when my dad, many years ago, brewed his own home beer, I was like 9 at the time, and I would go with him to the USM night classes for home brewing. And it was always something that interested me. I've always liked culinary science. I just don't have the physical structure to attend culinary school or work in a real kitchen because I'm just screwed up that way. But food science is still a passion of mine. So he got me this, and it's the deluxe kit. So it comes with the fermenting barrel, bottles, the necessary cleaning equipment to make sure that it's sterile before you brew it, and one thing to make a 2-gallon batch of beer. That's going to be on the weekend project list because it takes about 2 weeks to set up, I think, to ferment and everything. And I'm really looking forward to trying it. I really am. So that's the not completely detailed summation review of this year's trip to Maine. I'm going to go relax and quite literally let my hair down. That was the other thing, is that my mom happened to have a couple of days worth of Wen shampoo, that Chaz Dean infomercial Wen shampoo stuff. Because my mom has naturally very thin hair. And my hair is thin, but mom's is surprisingly even thinner. So she said, well, I'm not going to use it. It doesn't work for my hair for some reason. But if you want to try it, go ahead. It needs to get used up. And I went, oh, yay! So I've been wanting to try it, but I didn't want to spend the money. So I tried it for 3 consecutive mornings. And I got to say, there's a very good chance I am a Wen girl. Because my hair was not tangling. It was much smoother. It was not nearly as frizzy or frayed, and I'm sure it would have been even better, except for the fact that Mom only had the shampoo because she had given the conditioning treatment to another lady she works with who likes the product. So I don't know. But I'm going to look it up, and I think I'm going to get it to try because it's a month-long supply. So while my hair is long at least, that might be the best option for me. But I'll research it. So until next time, which will probably be in the new year.